All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the back to the channel. And for today's video, we're gonna be talking about Young Thug's new album, Business is Business. So let's get to business with this video. Also, I wrote down a ton of notes and I freaking lost them. I don't know what happened to them, and I was looking for like 30 minutes, and I'm like, bruh. And this album dropped a while ago, so I'm like, let's just get it over with. Let's just make the video. It'll probably be short. It's going to be brief because I did lose my notes, but I still do know a little bit what I'm talking about. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into the album. All right, so kind of hard to describe this album. It is pretty unique, I feel like. You know, you had Metro Boomin producing, you had Young Thug while he's in jail, which is kind of cool, you know, I guess, dropping an album while in jail. But anyways, one thing I thought was really cool is on Instagram, he posted that QR code, and no one knew what the QR code was for. And it was for when his album was releasing, which is cool because no one knew what it was until like a couple hours before. And Drake and a couple artists that were featured on the track list posted the QR code. So I thought that was kind of cool. Metro Boomin brought some pretty good beats, but I personally don't think it's close to his best work. I think Heroes and Villains, his beats were way better, but I mean, his beats aren't going to be bad though. Like, you still cannot beat Metro Boomin's beats for the most part. They were still great. But yeah, so first song was Parade on Cleveland featuring Drake. And I'm going to be straightforward with you guys. I didn't think the album was anything special. I thought it was decent. Like, I didn't think it was really good. I didn't think it was terrible. I just thought it was kind of eh. You know, it wasn't anything crazy for me. But that first verse Drake had on Parade on Cleveland is probably my favorite part of the album. And you guys might think I'm crazy, but I'm being honest. I'm being honest here. I ain't trying to please nobody. I'm just speaking what my personal opinion is, and I respect other people's opinions. I ain't like here to fight people or anything, but that's just my opinion. But I was listening and I was like, okay, you know, the whatever the notes he was hitting, he was being sexy with it, you know, and I was like, okay. And I was getting hype, and the rest of the album just didn't live up to that standard for me personally. I felt like after Drake was done with his verse, I liked the phone call thing, like they were in jail. I thought that was kind of cool. Nice touch to the intro song on the track list. And I thought Young Thug's verse was okay. Nothing to be nothing crazy, nothing to go bonkers about, but it was okay. Then the next two songs, Money on the Dress Shirt and Gucci Grocery Bag, I think were both okay. Money on the Dresser, I didn't really think much of it, and I thought the beat was kind of funky. At least I wasn't a big fan of it. It was unique, but wasn't my kind of beat I prefer. And Gucci Grocery Bag, that song's annoying, bro. I'm gonna be honest, that song is really annoying. When it's not in the chorus, it's okay. When you get to the chorus where it's like Gucci Grocery Bag, Gucci Grocery Bag, he just keeps saying Gucci Grocery Bag, and I'm like, what the heck, bro? Stop. I was not a fan of that song personally. Then you got a song like Cars Bring Me Out featuring Future, and I really liked Young Thug showing his braggadocious side, you know, flexing about how much more he has and how much better he is than everyone, basically. I really enjoyed that part of Young Thug. I liked him flexing on people, you know, and Future's verse, it's not bad. It's not a bad verse at all. It's just not as good as Future could do. I felt like it was decent. It was not a bad feature. It just was not anything special. Nothing to rave about. Now, With the Racks was one of my favorite songs on the track list. You had, obviously, Young Thug. You had Travis Scott, 21 Savage, and Yak Gotti. I don't really remember Yak Gotti's verse, to be honest, but I thought Young Thug had one of his better verses on the entire album, and Travis Scott's album was great, and he mentioned Utopia in the song, which is dope. Drop Utopia, please drop it now. And also 21's verse. 21 Savage the last 2 years has just been on top of the game. As far as feature artists, I think there's a very strong argument you can make that 21 Savage has been the best feature artist. He does not miss. Every feature he has done, the flows are fire. He just goes in. He goes ham, and I love it. I love it. You got songs like Uncle M, Abracadabra, Abracadabra, and I thought they were both Abracadabra I thought was a little annoying to me. I wasn't a big fan of it. Uncle M was okay. Went Through It was a pretty good song, had a pretty decent message, but still, I think it could have been executed better. Then you got Oh You Went featuring Drake again, and this is one of my bigger problems with the album. I thought Drake's verse was fire. I thought Drake's verse was great, but I thought Young Thug's part was I thought it was average. And you guys might not agree with me, which if you don't, I'm not hating. I respect your guys' opinions. I don't, everyone has different tastes in music. It's all relative, to our own personalities, but I just felt like every Young Thug verse seemed very similar and just wasn't much to it. And I guess you could say the same for Drake, but I just prefer Drake more, and I think the features carried this album for the most part. In Want Me Dead, the song on the album, obviously, I actually didn't mind the song. I thought it was a pretty solid track, and I'm just gonna read this on my phone real quick. I liked the Tupac intro at the beginning of the song, and he says, expect me like you expect Jesus to come back. Expect me incoming. I'm coming. I thought it said expect me incoming. Expect me, I'm coming. So it's just saying, expect me. I will be there. I'm in the game, and all that. And then 21 Savage is also in this song, and 21 spits again. 21 has another amazing verse. And the last song I'm going to talk about is Hellcat Kenny. There's a couple other songs after, but I just didn't really think much of them personally. But Hellcat Kenny I felt was a pretty solid song, and it had Lil Uzi, who also is dropping the Pink Tape very, very soon, and I am hyped. I'm going to be reacting. I'm going to be live streaming my reaction to the album and doing another album review on Pink Tape and Utopia and The Weeknd's album. So stay tuned for those. Stay tuned. Anyways, here we go. So Lil Uzi's verse was great. I thought Lil Uzi went ham. He was going crazy. Got me really hyped and ready for the Pink Tape. And he had a funny bar on there I thought I would mention. I wrote it down on a little note card. It's a funny bar by Uzi. She begging me just to come pee in her crack. Just thought that was an interesting verse I'd write down. That's about all I have on the songs and a little bit about the album. But I had a little rating system. I mean, nothing crazy, but Young Thug's performance, I gave a 6 out of 10. I thought it was pretty solid, but I definitely do not think it was in the upper echelon of Young Thug performances like on So Much Fun and other albums that he was in, And content lyrics, the lyrics were pretty weak for the most part, and the content was, I figured he would go more into what was actually going on, but he did a little bit, but just not too much, and I felt the content was fairly weak. I gave that a 4 out of 10. Production, you got Metro Boomin, so it's going to be at least solidly produced, but I gave it a 7 out of 10. I could have went higher, I could have, but there were some weird beats that I really wasn't a fan of. It was pretty experimental, some of them, but I just wasn't a big fan of them, but still good beats. A lot better than a lot of producers, so 7 out of 10 is what I gave it. Then we get to the features. I give it an 8 out of 10. I think the features are what carried this album, and I think if Thug's verses and content matter and production, all of this was on the level of the feature game, I think this would have been a great album. The features carried, in my opinion. Uzi, Travis, Drake, all had great verses. 21, tons of great verses. Then the last category I have is replay value, which is just for my personal listening taste. I gave it a 5. There is some songs that I have revisited some, like the Cleveland one. Forgot the name. But anyways, the Cleveland one with Drake and with the Brax, I've listened to a little bit, but I really don't see it being an album even in a month I'm going to be listening to, really. So I gave it a 5 out of 10. So overall, it was a 6 out of 10, so a 60 out of 100 score, which is about what I gave it on Album of the Year. Yeah, I gave it a 60 out of 100 on here, and I think I gave it a 62 on Album of the Year, but really not a bad album, just nothing crazy. I was pretty hyped up for it, and it did not reach my expectations, but let me know what you guys thought of the album down below. Hit that like and subscribe button if you did enjoy, and that's it for this one. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.